Well friends, now that I just got the ICF built in the last video, it's time to fill it with concrete. But I gotta make sure it's strong enough to hold the concrete, so I gotta do a little bit of bracing. This top row of taper top block is much more delicate. See, it's only got this much foam instead of this much, which is on a regular block. So this is gonna brace this, keep it from breaking. And then I also put the string line on there, and that helps keep it straight. This is gonna be a huge pour coming up. There's so much work to do. And I'm trying to make this as uneventful as possible by doing as much bracing and trying to get as few things that could go wrong as possible. Because as soon as pour day comes and I'm spending my time fixing a problem or a hole in the wall and concrete spewing out everywhere, then I'm gonna be spending time on that and not focusing on what I should be, like getting the wall straightened and setting all the brackets. There's a lot that can go wrong here at the windows, and I got a lot of them. On the corners here, there's going to be the most amount of pressure, so I thought it would be not a bad idea to throw some strapping on here. It don't take long to buy some 8-foot 2x4s, slap them on here, and then reuse them later. But I got a tendency of getting carried away, so I better not do that. If it wasn't for all these windows, friends, I wouldn't do near as much strapping as I got on here. But I really don't want them to move or bulge, because then I'm going to fuss with it later. I spent the money on 2x10s to form my big footing, and now I'm reusing it all on this foundation. All these scrap pieces are really nice. So I'm just trying to find and brace as many weak spots as I can. So when you're building an ICF, you have a joint here where you cut your pieces to fit. You cut all your pieces at the same place so that the studs line up and they all interlock properly. So there's actually nothing holding this down the middle. So I got to use these nice boards here, and that'll hold it really strong. I put some foam here so that the concrete wouldn't fill this space, and then I can notch my wood beam in here. Then you can see it's going to be supported on these supports down the middle, and there's the other pocket on the other side. And then I'll also have some posts here for roof support and floor support. So on the front of this log house, there are concrete supports here that hold up the truss and deck. I got all these leftover stakes, so I'll use them as bracing here. Try and get a few uses out of them. These are going to be my concrete forms, so there's going to be a fair bit of pressure on them. So I got to make sure that they're strong enough that they don't give me any trouble when it's time to pour, because there's going to be so much going on, so much to do on pour day, that I don't want anything causing me extra work. I want it to be as uneventful as possible. I built all these brackets with pretty simple tools. These are the brackets that are going to hold my logs posts to the concrete. It's huge. It's a 1/4-inch pipe. I weld it all the way around. And then on top as well, I welded the whole thing together. Thank you to Robert Chambers for the guidance in showing me what I needed to build. This is my new SDS drill, and it is $1,000,000. I just got it for my birthday and I absolutely love it. It's just effortless compared to doing it with the regular drill. Believe me, I tried that. It was fucking terrible. So there's stuff that needs to go under the footing, friends, and I already got all that stuff in, but there's also stuff that needs to go through the wall. If I don't do it now, it's gonna really suck because I'm gonna have to drill through the concrete wall. So we gotta put sleeves in here for everything that needs to go through the wall. Really good. And to me, it made a lot of sense to have these slightly sloping down so that any water ever get here, it's gonna naturally want to come down off it instead of feeding into the wall. Beautiful. This is something I've been finding to be a real drawback with ICF construction, just in my opinion. So I decided I wanted to put some water taps in, and everything that I want to come through this ICF has to be planned out now. But if this was a regular stick-built house, it'd be so easy to do. You could put them everywhere. But I was just sitting here working, I kind of had a oh shit moment. I was like, this is going to be a really airtight house. I need to get a fresh air intake and an air exchanger into this house. The vent is this big, okay? So drilling that out later would be awful. And I don't want to put it through the rim joist because it's huge. And I can't put it through the logs. If this was a regular 2x6 house, you could put that almost anywhere in the wall. Just drill through some plywood and it's done. But with this house and with the logs on top of it, I'm very limited to where I could put something like that. And this is what becomes my least favorite part of building, and many of you will understand. I'm just trying to pour concrete, but I gotta know like 100 steps ahead what my air exchanger is gonna look like, where I need vents, what size the vents are gonna be, because that's another thing. How far away it even has to be from the window, and I'm just not there yet. And I don't want to be there yet. I just want to pour concrete. I don't want to have to solve 20 things down the line. That's what's really hard about house building. These leftover plywood scraps are coming in damn handy to brace these common seams here. Good stuff. Here's something you really got to watch for when you're doing all this bracing, because this ICF right now is super straight. If you put attention into it, you can get it really perfect. It's way straighter than I could frame with this lumber because these boards are crooked. They just are. They all are. So when you're screwing into this foam, if you screw all this tight, unless the board is perfect, it takes the shape of these crooked boards. So you really have to be mindful. Well friends, concrete is coming tomorrow and I've really never been more nervous. I'm like waking up in the night, having dreams about my concrete pour here. I mean, it's just the most consequential day so far for me. This is the most high stakes day, just with how much it's costed to do everything, that it really has to go right. So I've been really nervous and just working as hard as I can to get it as good as possible, so there's as small a chance of anything going wrong. But shit, I gotta go home and hopefully get some sleep. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. So we use the pump truck here to pump the concrete out of the concrete truck into the ICF walls through the hose there. And man, let me tell you, I can't thank these guys enough for coming out and helping me. These are guys that know what they're doing, and that made this job go really well. All my helpers that I had just made this job go seamlessly, and it turned out as perfect as I could have asked it for. Here you can see we spend a lot of time filling up around all these windows and vibrating around the windows. Well friends, today is an awesome day. Got it poured yesterday. So when I was doing the instructional course from the manufacturer of the ICF, they really made a point to tell me to build the walls straight, keep them straight, pour them straight, and they'll stay straight. But then a lot of the guys around here that had done them before were all telling me to bow that wall in, because it was a lot easier once that wall is filled with concrete to push it out than it is to pull it in. I really did try and keep this straight as I was building. Like at each row, I make sure that the wall was staying level, and that way things just line up. But I made the mistake of keeping these walls straight before I poured. And what I should have done is cranked them in a good ½ inch. We did the first pass around the house, and I came and I was so concerned about those walls staying straight that I checked them, and sure enough, they had all went out. So I was able to crank them in after that first pass, or I could have been in a lot of trouble. And it's a good thing I had such good people and such a good crew here to help me that I didn't have trouble with this, because you don't have any time. I ended up adjusting these walls during the pour and after. I spent all this time putting all this bracing on, and now I just got to turn around and take it all off. So you might think that's kind of been a waste of time, but here's what I noticed. I noticed on that small window, without any bracing, there's a slight little twist in the top of it. Not really noticeable, but that's just on a little window with no bracing. If these great big windows had no bracing, I think they would have. Well friends, I am sure glad to get all this off. Calling her a night here now, she's gonna get dark. Like with this concrete vibrator, I was definitely really careful about how I used it. When you have so much weight in concrete and then the force of vibration, it is something that can do damage, so you have to be very aware of how you're using it. Where it worked especially nice is filling up around these windows, because getting concrete under the window is a little bit tricky because there's not all that pressure from above pushing it and filling in the area. So I had cut these holes in, and we were able to fill with the hose from the pump right into the holes, and then I was able to vibrate in there around the top and get them filled up good. And my friend Joe helped me a lot with this and giving advice, and I think he gave me pretty good advice to keep this a board over top of this brick ledge so that it would And then there was just a small enough window we could see here if it was filling up. And one of my helpers, my mom, came and vibrated it externally in any place it wasn't filling up. And it looks like it's pretty damn good. Joe gave me really practical advice to say, like, look, let's put more focus into getting under the windows and what's really important, getting the walls straight, getting everything set than this. You know, I was damn nervous. This is the most expensive project I've ever done, and there's so much that could go wrong. I was waking up in the middle of the night, like, fuck, thinking of concrete. But so, one thing that slipped me that I'm having regrets about is not getting a couple more clips. Also really mindful to the fact that not just my friends and helpers, but there's concrete truck drivers and pump truck and a whole bunch of people that might not want to be filmed, and I have to be respectful of that too. But I really do wish I would have got a couple more clips in the action. So, and I was kicking myself about that after the footing video too. So I'm sorry guys. I tried to get one of my helpers to take a couple clips, but then she was quickly overwhelmed with all the work too. And I mean, you got concrete all over yourself trying to handle the camera. And the biggest thanks to all my friends that come out here and help me, and are willing to help me, and you know, to have friends that want to help each other out is awesome. Also a big thanks too to my mom who's helped me on both, and to my special lady there, gave me a hand. I couldn't have done it without everyone here. I had 5 people, including myself, and it was just seemed to be just right. So, man, I'm the happiest guy in the world. I've rarely been so relieved in my life to get something done, and I'm so happy. Now it's time here to throw the floor on this. So thanks for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope everyone is doing just great.